So you're thinking of moving to Connecticut and everybody keeps pointing you to West Hartford. I'm Dave Jones with Dave Jones Realty. And today we're going to talk about 7 underrated Hartford County towns ranked not called West Hartford. And the town sitting at number 1 is the one almost nobody is talking about. But that's about to change. Everybody knows the big 3: West Hartford, Glastonbury, Simsbury. Great towns, but you're also paying for the name. Higher prices, more competition, often a bidding war. This list is for the towns that give you many of the same benefits, but for less money. So let's get right into it. Number 7 on my list is Wethersfield. Median sales price last year in Wethersfield, $415,000. Now, Wethersfield is not a secret to people who already live in Hartford County. But to somebody moving here, maybe from out of state or from a different part of the state, it flies completely under the radar. And that is a mistake. Here is what you're getting. Old Wethersfield, the largest historic district in the entire state of Connecticut. We're talking about more than 150 houses built before 1850, all in one walkable stretch. It's the kind of place people drive an hour to go visit on a fall weekend, and you can get to live there. Here you are also just 10 minutes to downtown Hartford, 10 minutes to go watch the Huskies or a Yard Goats game. You get a 1700s village, straight shot into the city, all from the same address. And it's not just the historic district. Wethersfield Cove sits right on the Connecticut River, and there's a whole waterfront park down there, a boathouse, walking paths. So on a summer evening, you've got the river right there. Old Wethersfield also runs one of the bigger farmers markets in the whole state. The whole village is genuinely walkable, which in Connecticut is more rare than people think. Most of our towns, you have to drive everywhere. In Old Wethersfield, you park once and then you walk. I had a buyer a while back that was dead set on West Hartford, and the budget just wasn't there. Everything they liked was going 20, 30, and even 60,000 over. I took them to Wethersfield almost as a backup, and they bought there. A year later, they told me they were so glad they didn't pick West Hartford. They're glad it fell through because they got the walkable village, the quick city commute, and they could still visit West Hartford. That happens more than you think. The backup town is sometimes the right town. Here's the catch, and I will always give you the catch. Wethersfield's mill rate is 41.22. That's one of the higher tax rates on the whole list. So you're paying for a location and the history on the back end every year in your tax bill. And the median home price, it jumped 14.3% last year, which tells you people are figuring it out. The window on this one's closing, but I still think you have time. If you want, I'll pull the actual tax number on any specific house you're looking at in a town like this, because the mill rate times the assessment is the number that actually matters, not the sticker price. That's kind of the thing we run through together. Number 6 on my list, Newington. The median sales price last year in Newington, $355,000. That is under the county middle, which is $360,000. Newington is not going to win any beauty contests, and I'm going to be honest with you about that. What Newington wins is the location contest. It sits almost dead center in Hartford metro area. Whether you need to get to it or not, you're close to it. It has its own downtown. It has the Berlin Turnpike running through it, which is one of the busiest retail corridors in the entire state. Anything you need to buy, it is there. And it's on the CT Fast Track busway, which is also a dedicated bus line that goes straight into Hartford. No traffic, and it runs on its own road. Here's where most people mess this up. They rule out a town like Newington because it doesn't photograph well. And they end up paying $80,000 more for the next town over, which has the same commute. Don't do that. Function is worth money. And Newington has more going for it than people give it credit for. Mill Pond Park is right in the middle of the town. This big green space with walking trails, ball fields, a pond. It hosts a waterfall festival in the fall that pulls all the area towns around it. The Newington Rail Trail connects into the regional trail network. It has a hospital campus. It's got its own high school with a strong reputation. And the housing stock is solid mid-century and colonial homes on generous sized lots. The kind of thing that's getting hard to find, especially under 400,000 near Hartford. The way I'd put it is this: Newington is the town you don't fall in love with for the photos, and then you live there for 5 years and you never leave because everything you need is 10 minutes away and you stop paying the premium for name. It's boring on paper, but it's great in real life. The catch here is the same shape as Wethersfield. The mill rate, almost 40 at 39.98. So Newington is underrated on location and convenience, but not on taxes. So make sure you know that going in. Number 5 is Berlin. Median last year was 425,000, up 6.3% from the year before. And now here's a fact about Berlin that I love, because it's the kind of thing that makes a town memorable. Berlin is the geographic center of the state. There's an actual marker. Everything in the state is measured from that spot. And that's not just trivia. Being in the center means you can get anywhere. Hartford, New Haven, the shoreline, Waterbury, Yukon stores, all of it in a reasonable drive. I've had buyers where 2 people in the household work in 2 completely different locations, one in Hartford, one down toward New Haven, and they're pulling their hair out trying to find a town that doesn't wreck one of their commutes. Berlin is the answer to that problem more often than any other town in the county, because from the center, everything is okay-ish, not terrible. When you've got 2 commutes to solve, okay-ish in both directions beats perfect in one. But here's the real reason Berlin is on my list. It has its own train station on the Hartford line, so you can walk into the train in Berlin and ride it into Hartford or in the other direction down to Meriden and New Haven without touching your car. In a state where most towns give you nothing but a highway on-ramp, this is genuinely a big deal. And it's the kind of thing that quietly holds a town's value over time. The mill rate is 30.65, which is meaningfully lower than the last 2 towns. So now we're starting to move into the part of the list where the taxes actually work in your favor. And that is not a coincidence, because the best kept secrets on the list are sitting on lower tax rates. Keep that in mind, because it builds towards the town at number 1. And Berlin gives you real small town feel on top of all of that. There's a genuine town center, there's Timberland Park with a golf course and trails, and the housing runs from older colonials to new construction. So there's an actual range here depending on your budget. It's one of the towns that feels settled and quiet, but you're never more than 20 minutes to a city. That balance is exactly what a lot of people moving here say they want, and they cannot find. If you're serious about this part of the state and you want somebody to actually walk you through which one of these towns fits your budget, fits your commute, before you waste a single Saturday driving around, that's exactly what I do in my free Zoom consultation. The link is down below. Call me, text me. We will map out the whole thing together with zero pressure and no obligation. Number 4, East Windsor. Median last year here was 320,750. That is one of the lowest numbers on the entire list. And the mill rate, 24.89, which is one of the lowest tax rates in the whole county. So let's sit with that combination for a second. Low price to buy, low taxes to hold. That is exactly the combination everybody says they want, and then nobody goes and finds it. Because East Windsor is not a name that comes up at the dinner table when people talk about where they want to move. Here's what it actually is. It's north of Hartford, up near the airport. It's rural, real land, real space, real quiet. You're right off Interstate 91, so getting into the city is easy, but you're living somewhere that feels more like the country. It's got some genuine character too. The Broadbrook section has an old village feel to it. There are working farms, there's still farm stands. The Scantic River runs through with trails and open space along it. This is tobacco and farm country up here. The same Broad Valley soil that made the whole part of the state, and a lot of the land is still open. You get sunsets over actual fields. For somebody coming from a packed suburb, that's the thing they don't know they were missing until they have it. This is the raw value pick of the whole list. If your number one priority is the most house in the most land for the fewest dollars, and you don't need a walkable downtown or a train, East Windsor is the answer, and most people never look at it. So Dave, what is the trade-off? Because there has to be one, right? Yes, you're going to drive for things. Your big weekly grocery run, your big shopping, something like that, you're going to go a couple towns over. It's driving 15 minutes for errands, and if that is going to make you crazy, this is not your town. If trading that for space and a low tax bill and low house prices is a good idea for you, this is the one in this county. Number 3 on our list, Southington, Connecticut. Southington's median price last year was $421,000, and it jumped 9.4% in a single year on strong sales volume. That number moving like that on that kind of volume tells you this is one of the most in-demand towns in all of the county. And it still qualifies as underrated because outside of Connecticut, nobody's heard of it. Here's what Southington gives you that a lot of these towns don't. A real downtown, an actual main street with restaurants, a movie theater, and things to walk to. The Farmington Canal runs right through it, so you've got miles of paved trails for biking and walking right through the middle of town. And the location is sneaky good. Southington straddles Interstate 84, which means the commute in any direction is great. You can head northeast towards Hartford, or you can head southwest towards Waterbury. Most towns lock you in one direction. Southington does not. And here's where people get this wrong. They hear Southington and they think of the highway and the shopping plazas along 84, and they never actually go see the downtown, which is 3 minutes away and feels like a completely different place. Go see downtown. That is the Southington that people fall in love with. And there's stuff to do here that keeps people rooted. Southington runs an Apple Harvest Festival every year, and that's one of the biggest town festivals in the state. They closed down the whole center. There's a drive-in movie theater that still operates there, which barely exists anywhere else in Connecticut. The rail trail I mentioned connects miles in both directions. This is a town with its own identity. It's not a bedroom community that empties out at 9 a.m. The mill rate here in Southington is 33.21, right in the middle, and it's fair for what you're getting. We're getting close to number 1, so keep the pattern in your head. The lower the tax rate has gotten, the better the value has gotten. That's not random, so hold on to that because the town at the top takes it further than any of these. Number 2, Suffield. Last year, the median sales price in Suffield was $442,700, and here is the interesting part. It actually went down 2.3% last year. While everything else in the county went up, that dip is the opportunity. It's a town that's not being bid up right now, which means you have room to breathe as a buyer. And that's rare in this state. Most of Hartford County last year, you were competing. Offers over asking, people waiving inspection, the whole ugly game. A town where median prices actually softened is a town where you can make a normal offer and get a normal answer. That's worth going out of your way for. And that's the thing. You're going to be going a little out of your way. And now let's look at the mill rate, 23.41. That is one of the lowest tax rates in the entire county. So in Suffield, you have a soft market and a low tax rate at the same time, which is a combination that does not usually last. Now, what are you actually buying? Suffield is old tobacco country up along the Connecticut River, and it's beautiful. There's a real historic Main Street, the kind with the big old houses, the private academies that have been there since the 1800s. The Windsor Locks Canal Trail runs along the river, 4.5 miles right on the water. It's one of the best flat walking and biking trails in the entire state. There's a tobacco museum up here. There's working farms, real agricultural history, and you can still see that when you're driving around. You're not far from the Massachusetts line, so a lot of what is up there is in the Springfield area, including some serious shopping, and of course, Six Flags. It's worth a short hop north. You also get the Big E once a year. You're tucked away, but you're not stranded. This is a town for somebody who wants space. They want quiet. They want history. They want a low tax bill, and they're willing to be a bit north and a little bit away from the center of everything. If that's for you, Suffield right now is one of the best values in Hartford County, and that's all you need to know. So number one, the one almost nobody is talking about. Before I give it to you, if any of this is landing and you want real help figuring out where you actually fit into our great state of Connecticut, or if you want help getting out of our great state of Connecticut, call Dave Jones Realty. Our team of agents would love to help you. Now, number one is Windsor Locks, with a median sales price last year of $315,000. That is the lowest number on the entire list. In the mill rate, 23.99. Also one of the lowest in the county. So right now you've got the cheapest entry point in one of the lowest tax bills at the same time. But that's not why it's number one. Here is why it's number one. Windsor Locks is the town wrapped around Bradley Airport. Bradley is the second biggest airport in New England. It's right there. If you travel for work or you've got family spread out around the country, living 10 minutes from a major airport is worth real money. And most people never think of it until they need it. No hour-long drive to the airport at 4 a.m, no booking a car service. You're there before you finished your coffee. And here's the part that makes this a right now story. There's a brand new train station under construction in downtown Windsor Locks on the Hartford line with a connection to the airport. Right next to it, the old Montgomery Mill, this huge historic mill building that sat empty for years, has already been converted to apartments. That mill matters more than it sounds. When a deeper look at a beat-up old mill in a downtown and they decide to put millions of dollars into turning it into housing, that's a bet. And they're betting on a town that's going up, not down. They made the bet because they know the train station was coming, and that's how all of this works. One piece of investment pulls in the next piece of investment. So think about what's happening here. You've got the cheapest median price on the list, the lowest tax rate on the list, a major airport, public money pointed straight at the downtown to build the train station and bring more people in. This is the definition of an underrated town. It is cheap today. It has real bones. There's an investment flowing into it with millions of dollars. The people buying in Windsor Locks right now before the station opens are the ones that are going to look smart 5 years from now. I've seen this movie before in countless other towns. The people who bought right before the thing was obvious are the ones sitting on all the equity. The people who waited until it was safe paid for the privilege. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Windsor Locks is finished and polished, because it is not. It is the town in the middle of becoming something. It's not quite there yet, but that's exactly what the price is reflecting. And the price will not stay here for forever. The time to buy into a town like this is while it still looks like a question mark to most people, not after the station opens and everybody can see it. By that time, it's obvious and the price will reflect it. Go drive downtown Windsor Locks, look at the mill building, look at what the station is going to be, and then look at what $315,000 buys you. Do that on a weekday when construction crews are out and you can see the money moving. That's the whole sales pitch. And look, if you want to go deeper on that side of the state, I broke down the towns around Hartford in a whole separate video, the ones that give you the most bang for your buck. Click right here and I'll meet you over there.